Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and every once in a while things really get heated up in crypto, and just there's all kinds of information flying. And today is one of those days. But I do want to start out here at my now that we're in the summer, my 9-year-old, who is a very demanding kid, is already hitting me with I want McDonald's this morning. I get this all the time. So this morning I felt like I'd go do it. I went and got him his McDonald's and everything as well. But see, it's not good enough for me to just get him the McDonald's. I have to put the sausage biscuit on the plate. I have to get the ketchup out. I have to put the orange juice on the table in front of him so that he is all comfortable and can watch his iPad. Okay? Daddy daycare, right? And if it's not just right, he's not afraid to complain. Okay, now, excuse me. Okay, this is Janet Yellen, our Treasury Secretary, the genius that is our Treasury Secretary. Listen to this.
But it wasn't just the president who got it wrong a year or so ago. I want to play for you what you said about inflation last year. Listen to this.
Is there a risk of inflation? I think there's a small risk, and I think it's...
By the way, how dare CNN actually hold these people accountable with their own words? How insulting is that? That they would actually do the job of what the media is and actually hold these people accountable. Imagine that. We don't get to see that much these days.
I don't anticipate that inflation is going to be a problem, but it is something that we're watching very carefully.
Was it a mistake, Madam Secretary, to downplay this inflation risk? Did that contribute to the problems we're all seeing right now?
Well, look, I think I was wrong then about the path that inflation would take. As I mentioned, there have been unanticipated and large shocks to the economy that have boosted energy and food prices and supply bottlenecks that have affected our economy badly that I at the time didn't fully understand.
Now, folks, you got one or two paths here, and I'll tell you which one I think. She was wrong about transitory inflation, all this. Now, you can believe that if you want. And look, I think that there's, like I wrote up here, these people, the way it works is they go and they go to their Ivy League schools. In many cases, their mommies and daddies probably got them in the schools. Then once they graduate, now they have the stamp of I'm smarter than everyone. And now they can go and get their cushy government job and tell everybody how smart they are and have fine dinners and all of that, okay? And then go to the next one. And if you fail, it's actually a badge. This is what I've learned. In these government positions, in this turnstile that is all these governments and then Wall Street and all of this, failing is completely acceptable. In fact, you might get a promotion when you fail. It doesn't work like that out here in the trenches, folks. Out here in the trenches, you have to survive, okay? It doesn't work that way for all of us. But let's get back to my point here. And the point is, this is one of two things. Either she really did make a mistake, or she's lying. And here's what I think. I think all these people are lying. I think that there is a controlled demolition of the United States economy going on. Look what they're doing with oil. They could be doing all kinds of things with oil here in this country. They won't do it. While gas prices are going up and up and up, they won't do a thing. Everywhere you look right now, it's like it's being done intentionally because these people can't be that stupid. Okay? They can't. If I can figure out that there's going to be inflation when you do QE 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and all that, while CNBC acts like it's all normal, if I can figure that out, then these people can figure it out. It's got to be a controlled demolition. And here's what I believe. I believe it's a controlled demolition into this digital world, which includes XRP and XLM, in my opinion. But what I'm in protective mode. So that's why I keep telling you about my sponsor, Glint. That's why this morning I went and bought more gold, or transferred money to buy more gold in my Glint account, because I have spendable gold. I have my Glint debit MasterCard that allows me to literally spend the gold I own. If we have a hyperinflation situation, my purchasing power will not be lost. The link to this will be in the top of the description of this video. Now, James Phelan, breaking conference scheduled for Tuesday, June 7th at 3 p.m. to discuss SEC's renewed assertion of the attorney-client privilege as to internal documents related to Hinman's June 14th, 2018 speech. Boy, they do not want us to see this stuff. And look what happened. James Phelan says, no call-in information was listed, and as of now, this appears to be an in-person conference only. So now, these SEC people have to go in and give these absurd, ridiculous arguments face-to-face with this judge. And if you don't think that makes a difference look, if I'm one of those SEC attorneys, the last thing I want to do is go try to have a straight face trying to peddle this nonsense to the judge. At what point does the judge get furious is my question I keep asking. All right, Eleanor Terrett and Charles Gasparino are on the case, folks. Check this out. Scoop. I will be appearing. Now, this was one thing, but I'm going to get to the other she was talking about. Scoop. She's going to be appearing on BitBoy on Thursday as a part of the daily XRP segment. We'll be discussing the latest developments in the SEC versus Ripple case, as well as my own involvement and coverage of the crypto space. And then here was Charles Gasparino yesterday afternoon. Scoop, SEC and Gary Gensler continue to bleed top people. Latest SEC enforcement departures. Christina Littman, Cyber Unit Chief. Jennifer Leet, Associate Director. Adam Aderton, Co-Chief of Asset Management. Dozen plus left department since Gensler appointed, chafing at management his style. Okay? Then Eleanor Terrett comes in. Christina Littman was head of the SEC Crypto Assets and Cyber Unit. My source tells me the reason Gary Gensler went on that hiring spree earlier this month was to cushion the blow of Littman's departure. Okay? So then, now, we've shown you all the people in the SEC who we think have been doing the wrong thing. Well, now that we have some good people who obviously have had enough, let's give them some credit. This is the woman that just left, Crypto Assets and Cyber Unit Chief of the U.S. SEC. And apparently, Christina Littman knows right and wrong when she sees it. So good on you, Christina Littman. This has never been about all of the people at the SEC. This is about the Gary Genslers, the Jay Claytons, and their toadies. That's what this is about, because these people are not doing right. They're not doing what they were sent there to do, and protecting investors. If they were protecting investors, then they would be responding to 67,000 plus XRP holders. Remember, these are the same people that dropped a lawsuit on Ripple after 8+ years of XRP being openly traded. 8+ years. That is not protecting investors. Now, then Charles Gasparino goes on to the Liz Clayman show and lays it out. This is great stuff. Listen.
Departures at the Securities and Exchange Commission have some on Wall Street saying that shines an unflattering spotlight on top cop Gary Gensler's leadership. To Charlie Gasparino.
This is about that under Gensler, and we're getting this from multiple sources inside the SEC. These are people that are staff attorneys, that work in the enforcement division and elsewhere. And it's not just the union that's chafing under him. It's the attorneys, the people that run the place are chafing. They're saying that his management style, brusque, demanding, unflinching. His workload, he's doing everything from cracking down on crypto to ESG to you name it. This has a very expansive regulatory agenda that this is leading to massive amounts of departures, even more so than in the past. We understand that 3 left today. We should point out that, so these are 3 pretty senior people. Christina Littman, head of the cyber unit. That's pretty big within the enforcement division. Jennifer Lite, associate director of enforcement, and Adam Adderton, co-chief of asset management enforcement. Again, for we understand, more than a dozen have departed since Gensler's appointment. And I'll tell you, I've covered SEC chiefs for years. I've seen really demanding ones. I've covered Arthur Levitt. I covered even Richard Breeden back. Shows you how old I am.
Harvey Pitt.
Harvey Pitt.
Chris Cox.
Chris Cox. You just did not see this level of turnover, this level of, I don't want to work for this guy. And it's not just the top. It's pervasive. Again, he's got massive problems with the SEC union. You know, they're rebelling over all sorts of stuff involving their workload. Now he's got issues with people that are, you know, the core people at the SEC, these staff attorneys who are leaving left and right. The latest 3 we just pointed out. And again, you got to ask yourself, why under him and not under Jay Clayton? Why under him and not Mary Jo White was no wimp. Remember, she was the SEC chief under Obama. She was no one to mess with, but people weren't looking for the door.
Is unflinching bad, Charlie? Don't you need a tough person?
It's a great question. I mean, when does tough, demanding become abusive and we just don't like working for you? And you know, it's pretty clear that we're crossing the line now. It's also pretty clear that Gary Gensler probably doesn't want this to be his final job, so he's pushing a lot. He's pushing a very expansive and politicized agenda. He wants to be Treasury Secretary, and he's actually said that to people. So, you know, put all that together, these people feel like they are being whipped to get his resume in shape to take over for Janet Yellen, you know, if and when that day comes. And
who would put this guy in charge of being a dog catcher? Not me. I wouldn't hire him to do my yard.
Because the SEC is, I mean, there's no doubt that its agenda is well beyond what its usual mandate. I mean, this is an agency that generally was about, you know, catching Wall Street crooks and protecting small investors. Now we're talking about mandating ESG requirements for companies and a lot more. So, I mean, this is pretty interesting stuff. If Republicans get Congress, particularly the Senate, because the Senate Banking Committee is, I think, the de facto regulator of the SEC. This whole staff turnover and his management style is going to come up. I guarantee it. They will do hearings.
Charlie, thank you very much.
Uh-oh, Gary. Congressional hearings coming. And then Charles Gasparino and Eleanor Terrett also did a write-up on Fox Business on this. SEC leaders with nearly 50 years experience quit under Gary Gensler's tenure. And if you look at, this is the craziest part in their article to me. The SEC union leadership, it says union leadership contends that their workload is too onerous to take a vacation and that they should be able to carry over the vacation days to the following year or get compensated for forfeiting the time. And I said, after all we've uncovered, the SEC union's biggest issue with Gensler's vacation days, this entire agency needs to be dismantled, and maybe a lot of other agencies. These institutions have totally lost touch with the people of this country. They are protecting themselves. They're worried about padding their own pockets and worried about protecting themselves and the next job. You've got an SEC commissioner, and all he can think about is trying to get the Treasury job. This is some sicko stuff we're dealing with, folks. What has happened to our country? Now, I'm going to cover that in the next video. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and ask your friends and family what in the world has happened to this country and what's happening to the future for our children. This is sick stuff, folks.